So the moves just keep coming in the Overwatch League, as yes, we cover them again today. Yes, again. Last time we finished off with the moves at London Spitfire and the speculation around them, but we have got a bunch to talk about in this one, so let's get to it, shall we? First of all, I woke up yesterday morning to a very interesting transfer. This is the Shanghai Dragons picking up Ursula, the former Atlanta Reign DPS player. Very interesting. Ursula is going to be at the Shanghai Dragons alongside Fletter and Lip. And this will, I'm almost certain that Ursula will be a backup to these players. But I think he's a decent backup. Remember, Ursula didn't have the best of coaching at the Atlanta Reign. There's good coaching at the Shanghai Dragons. There's extensive coaching at the Shanghai Dragons. I think they could unlock a lot of potential in Ursula. So I think this is a decent pickup for the Shanghai Dragons, and it enables them to have a very deep hero pool and deep cover for the DPS role, which they've lost a lot in this off-season so far. Now we move to another point in China, where we take a look at the Chengdu Hunters. Chengdu Hunters have been rather quiet so far, just letting go of a few people, but now we've started to see the Hunters make changes. So first of all, the Hunters have a new academy team in China. It's called Team Chaser, that will be competing in the Chinese Contenders region next year. And that means they are sorting out the rosters for both. And it means some changes for the Chengdu Hunters that we're going to go through now. So first of all, they've signed a new coach. This is Creed. He's coming in from the Guangzhou Charge. Very nice pickup for the Chengdu Hunters there. They're also signing a coach, Yao Ji, from Flag Gaming. Flag Gaming have just won Contenders China, so that is a really nice pickup for the Chengdu Hunters. Then we have some news about Late Young and Yveltal. Late Young is the off-tank. He'll be moving from the Chengdu Hunters to a two-way contract with Team Chaser and Chengdu Hunters, alongside Yveltal, the support player. So they will both be available to play for Team Chaser and the Chengdu Hunters, which will be super duper interesting. There will be two permanent moves over to the Team Chaser though. This is the two support players, Lengsa and Kyo. They will both be moving from Chengdu Hunters to Team Chaser. So this means that there is a substantial clean out at the Chengdu Hunters, especially in the support line, and we are expecting even more changes coming through very soon. There's a lot of players that are not tied down to the Chengdu Hunters right now. So we are possibly in 2021 going to be looking at a very different Chengdu Hunters than what we've seen before. Extensively, in previous seasons, their changes have not been massively extensive. So this will probably be the biggest changes we've seen at the Chengdu Hunters in its history. And it'll be very interesting to see if it leads the Chengdu Hunters in the right direction. They've always been a team that can upset, but they've always been a team that is inevitably bottom half. So we'll see whether this can propel the Chengdu Hunters to greater things. Now we skip all the way to Hangzhou Spark. Yeah, it's a lot in China. We'll be moving out of China in a minute. They have signed a new main tank. This is an odd one. So they've signed Takoyaki from Team Diamond in Korea. This is weird because they obviously have Guzhui. Guzhui is so good. Like, Guzhui is a really good main tank. Takoyaki, however, is a very promising up-and-coming prospect from Korea. He's been at Element Mystic, he's been at Meta Athena, and he's been at Team Diamond. Team Diamond are doing alright. He's only 17. He's going to turn 18 on April the 18th, so just before the league starts. I don't know what the thought process is for Hangzhou Spark here. It is possible that perhaps they want him as a more Reinhardt-y sort of player, but if I was Hangzhou Spark, I would have tried to just stick with Guzhui on the main tank role. I'm a person who doesn't like to constantly swap main tanks in teams. I don't like the idea of it, even though it worked for the San Francisco Shock. So it's a weird one. Although one thing we can say more these days than ever is the fact that the main tank role isn't as linear as it used to be. We've seen Zarya hog metas and stuff like that, so the main tanks generally have to be tank players. They generally have to be much more versatile than they ever have been, and perhaps that's what they see in Takoyaki that we aren't seeing right now. But it is, again, a move that caught a lot of people quite off guard. But let's move over to NA now, shall we? Because we're going to go over to the New York Excelsior. We have been expecting a clear out of the New York Excelsior. I thought before the season ended that the NYXL would be due a major shakeup, either this season or next season, and it's this season that we're going to see it. We've already seen a bunch of people go. we are seeing the next 3 go now. This is Animo, the support player, Libero, the DPS player, and team captain, and NYXL legend Sabi Olby. It's big. One thing is on the NYXL side, they have retained one. His name is Jonak. He will be turning out for the NYXL in 2021. That is fantastic. They've cleared out the older guard of the NYXL, the Sabi Olbys, the Manos. Mecco went obviously last season. So we're gonna be seeing a New York Excelsior that we've never seen before again. This coming 2021 season. It's gonna be an extensively different team, and it'll be very interesting to see how they fill these holes, who they bring in. We've seen them linked with Yakpong to fill that main tank role. Again, we don't have any confirmation on that, but it is out there. There are a lot of really nice off-tanks around right now. When we look at the likes of Fury, we look at the likes of QOQ. So there are some really, really nice off-tanks around at the moment, although I still think Washington Justice should be looking heavily at QOQ. But Washington Justice will be coming up in a minute. Also, Jano's on the market, just saying. So there are a lot of possibilities for New York Excelsior. It's probably a very unnerving time to be a New York Excelsior fan, because this is change that New York Excelsior have never seen before. Never seen this sort of thing when you're clearing out players that have been with this team since the very beginning, since this team was #1 in the standings in 2018. Sabi Olby and Mano, people like that. Old hats of New York Excelsior have gone now. Sabi Olby was such an icon for that team, and it will hurt. It will hurt for a long time, just like with London it hurt to lose people like Profit and people like that. Because they were icons of that team. They weren't just good players, they were icons. So yeah, it's going to hurt for NYXL, and we will see what they do in the coming weeks and possibly months to see who fills these gaps at the NYXL. It'll be interesting. But lastly, we are taking a look at the Washington Justice. Washington Justice are a team in flux. That's not a Sigma pun, I didn't mean that. So they are changing. They are, they're going to be a different team next season. We've seen them bring in Mag. They re-signed Decay. They got Tuba. They signed in Jerry. And now we're seeing them clear out more Deadwood. So AimGod will be leaving in that support role. Jano will be leaving in his tank role, the off-tank role. And Stitch will be leaving that DPS role. It's not a surprise that Stitch is going. Stitch, I don't see a place for him now with them having Tuba, Decay, and Jerry. Janu is more of a weird one because obviously they don't have an off-tank right now. I think Janu left probably because Stitch left. So that's not too much of a surprise. And then AimGod is not too much of a surprise either. We were expecting clear-outs at the Washington Justice. I thought it was a matter of time that Stitch and Janu went, and AimGod, and that has now happened. And then we will see what happens from there on in. Washington Justice will continue to change up, continue to make changes. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. And I think Washington Justice are on the up. There are some interesting moves happening there, and it'll be interesting to see how they fill in these spots, because it will make a big difference to where people place them in their power rankings come 2021. But I'm going to leave it here for this one. Nice short bulletin, and I'm sure I'll be back very soon for more. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.